Greetings, brothers and sisters. I am Brother Peter the Cat, founder and superior of Holier Than God Monastery. We are a sedevacantist, traditionalist Benedictine community. Traditionalists, meaning that we reject the heretical Vatican II changes, and sedevacantists, meaning that we believe there's been no valid popes since Pius XII died in 1958. That includes you, Mr. Francis. Now, first order of business, I hope you all skipped Mass this week, because there really isn't a point in going to church anymore. All the valid priests are either dead or underground, and the people that are running the churches, I think, are just Freemasonic Jewish heretics posing as Catholics. So, stay away from church. Next on the agenda, I want to address concerns that I have received from numerous other traditionalists and sedevacantists. Why do I call my monastery holier than God? That is just a point they cannot accept. But let me ask you this question in return. Why does God just keep allowing the Vatican II Church to just keep on electing anti-pope after anti-pope after anti-pope, and all the churches just have clown masses and liturgical dance and all this other liturgical liberalism? Why does all this stuff keep happening? Why does the great apostasy just have no end in sight? The only solution I can see that explains everything perfectly is that God himself has become a heretic. He is in complete agreement with all this. It's not just the Pope. The great apostasy goes all the way up to heaven itself. I mean, yeah, I accept that Rome will lose the faith and become the seat of the Antichrist, but who would have thought that God himself would be behind it too? I have had enough of all these messages I have received calling me a heretic and saying that I'm poisoning the faith by calling God a heretic, but let me tell you something. The only people that are poisoning the doctrines of the Catholic Church are all these false traditionalists and Novus Ordo apologists teaching heretical garbage to all the congregations out there. What is so dangerous about these Novus Ordo apologists and false traditionalists is that they give people the complacency that they're holy, when in reality they're leading souls into hell. These false teachers are all mortally sinful heretics, and you can denounce all the clown masses and liturgical dancing and all this other stuff going on in the churches all you want, but if you do not preach the fullness of the truth, that God is an apostate and we must pray for his repentance, then you are no more Catholic than Nancy Pelosi. Since the remnant of true Catholics today have no God and no Pope on their side, we are all vulnerable to attacks from the devil. It can only be a miracle I'm able to get this message out, because otherwise I'd probably be killed by the Vatican II Church, or the government would censor me for hate speech. Now, even though I am concerned for my own freedom of religion and freedom of speech, that does not mean I believe that those rights should be extended to non-Catholics. Ideally, under a benevolent Catholic dictatorship, non-Catholics would not be allowed to profess their non-Catholic faith publicly or to publicly denounce the Catholic Church. But we're not going to force them to be Catholic. That's not the same thing. It is the mission of the Church to save souls, and allowing public dissent only plants the seeds of doubt in believers. Now, before I end this video, I would like to call for a novena to pray for God's repentance of his sins of allowing the Vatican II Church. Now, I don't know how we're going to go about choosing a new pope, since Pius XII's cardinals are all dead and we don't have anyone validly ordained to elect a new pope. But I am hopeful that after God repents of his sins, that he will appoint us a new pope. After all, St. Peter didn't need a conclave to get the job. Okay, enough of that shtick. To any traditional Catholics out there that just want to have Mass in Latin and that's all, I have nothing against you guys, and I'm really sorry that your movement attracts all these really crazy people that are just more concerned about conspiracies and hatred. The radical traditionalists and sedevacantists are really the Westboro Baptists of the Catholic Church. And I find it really funny how they spend most of their time just calling each other heretics. And how they also obsess over the writings of old popes and old councils, and they're like, oh, this part means that, and the new church doesn't follow this. They're so obsessed with precedent and all these really strange interpretations that I wonder why they didn't become lawyers, because lawyers are into interpreting old stuff, old laws and everything. And oh wait, no. Any radical traditionalists or sedevacantists watching this, no, do not become lawyers. That would be even worse. Anyway, To anyone that wants to type in the comments saying that I'm delusional or I'm just a shill for the Jewish Freemasons or whoever you think is controlling the world, let me just say this. How stupid do these conspirators have to be if they've started to recruit amongst the furry fandom? I mean, they have to be really, really desperate to sink that low. The only thing we could really do is teach them how to make costumes and how to throw awesome parties. World domination really isn't a furry thing. Well, maybe except if you're Dragoneer. I think he might be plotting to control the world, but I don't know. Anyway, bye everyone. This is Peter the Cat. See you later. Now, first order of business. I hope you... Excuse me. Now, I don't know how we Sedevacantists are going to go about choosing a new pope, since Pius XII's... Excuse me.